The Winter Classic doesn't have that same luster anymore. Now, I still very much enjoy watching the Winter Classic game. I very much do. It's just that I feel like the NHL has too many outdoor games, stadium outdoor games going on every year. Like this year you have the Winter Classic with Fenway Park, Penguins Bruins, a stadium we've already seen before, which has kind of not helped this Winter Classic a little bit in a sense where it's not as enthusiastic because we've already seen this venue and we've seen the Bruins a lot. We've seen the Penguins a lot, understandably so, but we've seen this venue before, so they're redoing a venue for the first time ever where they're going to a venue twice. Not a big fan of that. I'm very much not a big fan of that. And then you also have the Stadium Series, and this is the big topic of this video, is that there's I would say for most part, there is too many outdoor games. I think adding that second outdoor game, sometimes there'd be 2 Stadium Series games. That has, stopped. But there used to be 2 Stadium Series games a year. That has stopped. However, it's kind of hurt the Winter Classic's luster, and I have kind of a statistic to prove it. You go and let's look at the ratings for each Winter Classic of all time, starting obviously in 2008 between the Sabres and the Penguins. 3.7 million. Very strong number for its first showing. Goes up the next year at Wrigley Field, Red Wings, Blackhawks. And then 2010, it goes down a little bit. It's Bruins, Flyers, and then goes right back up for 2011. Slight down in 2012, probably because the Flyers were in it literally for the second time in 3 years. No game in 2013, and the highest rating it's ever gotten, 2014, 4.4 million. Red Wings, Maple Leafs, Michigan Stadium. That was my personal favorite Winter Classic. It still is my personal favorite Winter Classic. I have a very fond memory watching that game. That game was sick. 2015, it goes down. I don't really remember much of 2015 at Nationals Park, Blackhawks, Capitals, and then it goes down to Gillette Stadium, and then it continues to go down and down, but goes up for 2019 with Notre Dame staying between the Bruins and the Blackhawks, and then 2020 at the Cotton Bowl goes down for the first time below 2 million, and then 2022 Blues Wild 1.4 million. However, that was on cable, so you can say that helped a little. That would obviously hurt that number, obviously the lowest it's ever been, but you guys see the drastic decline in the Winter Classic, and I think it's because there's another outdoor game now, and I think that's just kind of tarnished its luster, and also that some of the venues they've picked in the past couple years aren't as strong. Like Notre Dame, that's a really strong venue, and that grabbed and pulled attention. So how can the NHL kind of fix this problem it has with the Winter Classic that's kind of lost its luster? I personally still very much enjoy the game, but how can the NHL fix this slight problem they have to bring the Winter Classic back to its prominence and stature that it had when it first got implemented? And for a while, it was very much regarded as one of the best regular seasons. Holy fuck, touchdown TCU! They're up 3 possessions. Okay, back on track. So now, how can they fix this problem? You can't say they have a problem without proposing a solution. So I have a solution for the NHL that they can do to kind of counteract this problem and make the Winter Classic feel more special and have that luster be brought back while bringing some more prestige and luster to new events at the same time. So let's waste no more time. We're going to go year by year all the way up to the 2029 to 2030 season. I have events, outdoor games, and special events for each season, and let's start off with the first season, which would be the 2023 to 2024 season. And we do have 3 events going on. Well, because it would be 2, but since the NHL has already announced next year's Heritage Classic between the Calgary Flames, Edmonton Oilers at the Edmonton Elks Stadium, that has to be on there. So for the first one of the 2 I have made, the Winter Classic is obviously going to be there, and the Stadium Series. Let's start with the Winter Classic. The 2024 Winter Classic is going to be in Central Park between the Islanders and the Rangers. Now, I understand this is probably not very realistic. I understand it would take a lot to do this, and this is possible. I do believe this is possible because the Rangers, when they would host other Winter Classics, they would practice and hold temporary seating at Central Park. Have a practice session. If I'm correct, I had 10,000 seats at that temporary Central Park rink. I think this is very much possible. I think the NHL, if they brought in temporary seating, 15,000, maybe 20, if they can squeeze that in there to Central Park, very much exclusive ticket, must-see event. It's the first kind of its stature of the Winter Classic not being in a stadium. I think that would be a really, really good way to bring that luster back, because some people will be intrigued, especially that's New York versus New York, Islanders, Rangers. I think that would be a fantastic addition to the Winter Classic, and it would be a very, very special Winter Classic. And for the Stadium Series, I have it now. This is possible because they have done a Stadium Series out in California. It is at Raymond James Stadium between the Florida Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, I understand this would be very, very hard to pull off, but they have done it before between at Dodger Stadium with the Kings and Ducks. They've done it before. I think it is possible if you do this late February. I think they can find a way to do this at night game. Yeah, and this will be the last Stadium Series game you're seeing for the next couple of seasons. That's all I'm saying. For 2024-2025, we only have one special event, and it's only one outdoor game. Here's the first big change to the outdoor games. Only one in 2024-2025. In the winter, it's the Winter Classic at Mile High, the Denver Broncos Stadium, between the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. They have a little bit of a rivalry. They've butted heads in the playoffs, and I definitely believe that the Avalanche deserve to host a Winter Classic, especially on this run they've been having. This is the farthest west they would have had a Winter Classic, if I am correct. I don't think they've went that far. They went that far for Stadium Series games, but not that far for a Winter Classic. I think it would be a great fit for a Winter Classic. Mile High, the Denver Broncos home stadium. I think this will be very, very cool and back to kind of traditional route of a football stadium. Now that not every single one is going to be a football or baseball traditional scenery, okay? Just remember that. Not every single one's going to be like this. So it's back to its traditional way, but it's the next one, the next Winter Classic, 2025, 2026. The 2026 Winter Classic is special because it's at Beaver Stadium between the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. How this one hasn't happened yet is kind of beyond me. This is a moneymaker. This is a attention drawer, eye getter. This is one that's going to draw eyeballs and seats the asses to seats. There you go. This is something that needs to happen. I would go to this game if it happened. I'm just saying, packed out Beaver Stadium, Battle of Pennsylvania, Penguins, Flyers, fucking it, right there. I understand they've tried to do this before, but I think Penn State shut it down. But I am now, if I'm correct, Penn State and Beaver Stadium are trying to get more exclusive, different special events at the stadium, and this is the perfect thing to do it. I think it's only a matter of time before it's going to happen, and they need to get on this. They need to get on this. Penguins, Flyers, and also we have the return of the Stadium Series, and it's not outdoor, boys. No. It's not an outdoor game. So you see the name in Stadium Series where it says stadium. It doesn't say outdoors. So we're bringing it indoors at US Bank Stadium between the Blackhawks and the Wild. Now, I understand this could be a problem because then you're like, what the fuck's the point of the game? You're only just bringing it to a bigger venue, but it's indoors. Why wouldn't you just, put it in its regular venue? This is a test, and you're doing it in a test in a market where you know it's going to work. You put two teams you know that's going to draw seats and probably eyeballs, and it's going to work. So you do that as a safety, as a test, and if it fails with those two, especially being hosted in Minnesota and how hockey crazed area it is, yeah, then it's not going to work for the future. However, like I said, this is a test. This is a great way to test it out, and I think this would be a pretty cool Stadium Series game at US Bank Stadium, Blackhawks Wild. For the 2027 Winter Classic, we have it going back to the non-traditional route, and we are going with the National Mall, the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., being between the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Washington Capitals. This would be an absolutely phenomenal backdrop, a really, really cool Winter Classic. It would be a sight to behold if this were to happen in real life. You got the monument in the background. You got the White House, faint far back. It would be sick. It'd be sick getting some temporary seating potentially, and I think that would be one hell of a sight to host a Winter Classic. And we are also doing another Stadium Series game this year, and this is also an actual outdoor, well, it can be outdoors. If it's shitty weather, you can make it indoors as the retractable roof. That is the T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington, and this game would be between the Vancouver Canucks taking on the Seattle Kraken. We're doing this as a Stadium Series game. I was potentially thinking of giving Seattle Winter Classic. They're not going to be on this list for a Winter Classic. I thought about it. I thought there was some other options I wanted to get to all the way up to 2030, but they would still be on my list for like after 2030 for potential ones down the line. There've been the potential ones after 2030 that we'd look into, because there's still a bunch of stadiums you can hit up and have marquee events. I think that would be one of them as well. I think the Mariners Park, T-Mobile Park, you got Vancouver, Seattle, Battle of the Pacific Northwest. That'd be a banging Stadium Series matchup, and I think that'd be very, very interesting to see. That way you get your one stadium game, the fans or whatever, and then you get that cool ass Winter Classic backdrop between Tampa Bay, Washington Capitals at the National Mall. That's fantastic. How about the 2028 Winter Classic? This one is going to be a banger. Banger, banger, banger. How they have not, also another venue I don't know how they have not gone to yet is quite mind-boggling. Ohio Stadium, Red Wings, Blue Jackets. This is perfect. Michigan Wolverines, Ohio State Buckeyes. The Red Wings representing Michigan, Ohio State being represented by Columbus Blue Jackets. It's that fucking simple. It's a match made in heaven. This is literally another massive money maker. This would be a fantastic Winter Classic. Something that's not happened yet would draw in viewership because it's Ohio Stadium. It would work for the NHL. And I would love to see this, honestly. Red Wings, Blue Jackets. Once the Blue Jackets actually get good eventually, they have a lot of good young prospects. So do the Red Wings. Assuming at this time they're both very good, this would be one hell of a Winter Classic. And also, coming back this year will be the Heritage Classic this season. So your 2027-2028 Heritage Classic is also a non-traditional venue. So this makes the Heritage Classic feel a little special. Obviously, it doesn't happen all the time. So this will be a very, very special Heritage Classic, being between the Toronto Maple Leafs going against their Ontario foe, the Ottawa Senators, at Parliament Hill. There's always been rumors and about the talks. They want a game at Parliament Hill, and it's how it's potentially possible this would happen. You get this would be phenomenal. Absolutely beautiful backdrop right on the Parliament Hill. It would be so sick. There's already seats there. This is like this is an easy decision. Get this done. This would be a phenomenal addition to the big special events. Now, I understand this is 2 outdoor games, but yet again, the Heritage Classic doesn't really affect the Winter Classic that much. And the way we've been doing this, a lot of the other outdoor games, quote unquote, there hasn't really been 2 outdoor games in the same year. They wouldn't really affect the Winter Classic that much because they're completely fucking different. So it would help a little bit in this way that Winter Classic still has its prestige and persona, and actually is getting leveled up because they're going to all these big venues. I think this is going to help out as well. And also for Canada, getting this massive marquee outdoor game, that's going to work out great. And also for your 2028 and 2029, this is also a interesting choice I decided to go with here for the Winter Classic. Neyland Stadium, if you don't know what that is, that is the Tennessee Volunteers home stadium, and this Winter Classic would be between the St. Louis Blues taking on the Nashville Predators. I just think that atmosphere would be electric. You get the Nashville Predators, their fans, Smashville. I think filling up that place, St. Louis, Nashville, that shit would be goated as fuck. I think that would be a pretty cool sight to see a nice little Winter Classic, nice little outdoor game going on. I think that's a nice little curveball, something that maybe people wouldn't be expecting, but be a very
cool
sight. Good old Rocky Top. I think that would be one hell of a venue. And this is fucking off the wall. This what I'm about to say, this special event. There's a reason why I use the term special event, because this is a fucking one-off. We are calling this the Alaskan Classic. Now you're asking, what the fuck is the Alaskan Classic? It is a game somewhere in Alaska with no fans. It's basically Lake Tahoe. It's literally Lake Tahoe, but in the future in Alaska, between the Montreal Canadiens and the Pittsburgh Penguins. I don't know why I chose those two teams. I just chose them. I think it'd be also pretty cool to see this happen. So we decided to go Montreal, Pittsburgh, bang. I think that would be really cool to see, honestly. Get that scenic backdrop. Still completely different to the Winter Classic. Hopefully it wouldn't hurt the Winter Classic that much. Yes, that's 2 outdoor games. However, completely different things. I think it would be okay. And I think it would work just fine. And still keep that allure that the Winter Classic can have. And, you know, bringing in that attraction that it needs and should have. And our last Winter Classic that we are doing in this video is the 2029-2030 Winter Classic. And this one, I understand why this hasn't been done, because the hurdles that it would take will be hard. But if they can get a way to do this, we're assuming that we can find a way to get this venue in for a Winter Classic. This would be absolutely phenomenal. Lambeau Field, the home of the Green Bay Packers, and it's being played between the Minnesota Wild, Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah, I know I already put Minnesota and Chicago for the Stadium Series at US. That's different. This is not a Winter Classic. That's an indoor game, first off. This is completely different. You keep that, or make that Winter Classic Minnesota, Chicago. Minnesota, not too far from Wisconsin. Chicago, obviously not far from Green Bay at all. I think this works perfectly. This absolutely works perfectly. You get that Minnesota, Chicago, Lambeau Field, such a historic venue that will obviously draw. That will be probably one of the higher rated Winter Classics, assuming, yeah, it would probably be one of the higher rated Winter Classics, and I think that would be such a great Winter Classic. I would love to see this, and that will be the only winter outdoor game special event that season, because yet again, you want to keep that allure and prestige. Boom, you have this all figured out, and those are your special events from 2024 all the way up to the 2030 season. I love these events. And if there's any other like Winter Classic or even other outdoors or indoor game, you know, special events you guys can come up with, drop them in the comments below. I'm very curious to see what you guys can come up with. Maybe some shit that's completely different than what I got here, because I really like, my favorite one here obviously is Beaver Stadium, but I think the Central Park one's pretty sick, and also the National Mall, that one's way up there for me as well. Obviously Ohio Stadium would be pretty wild though. Ohio Stadium, Detroit, Columbus, that would be pretty sick too. Like, a lot of these are really cool. I really like the Alaskan Classic. Lambeau would be such a sight. Like, all these would be great things for the league. The Parliament Hill, the Heritage Classic, that would be elite. An elite Heritage Classic. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in for the next one.